Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Yeah. Jesus.
Martial arts. Yeah.
My man B-Hop, who got dropped out the ring last night. I need a little judo baby. I need me a little judo baby, and let's do it, Ron. Let's hit me up.
I see you were filming this. You've got a face for radio.
I've got a face for radio.
That's nice.
Martial arts. Chat.
Martial arts. Chat.
Hello, I'm John Boy McElroy. Welcome to Martial Arts Chat.
Martial
On
Arts.
tonight's roundtable, we'll be reacting to UFC 231. Took place in Toronto at the Scotiabank Centre and headlined, of course, by Max Holloway and Brian Ortega. Later in the show, I'll be answering your fan questions. Thanks to everyone who got in touch. But before I introduce tonight's panel, just a quick shout out to the sponsors: A1 Fight Gear. A1 Fight Gear use the latest cutting-edge boxing gloves for professional and amateur fighters, gym enthusiasts and kickboxers. So local and national gyms in the UK, do yourselves a favour and go to a1fightgear.com. We're also sponsored by beastgear.co.uk. If you want to get back into shape or stay in shape or just keep trimming the fat off, then use the coupon code Martial Arts Chat when you go to Beast Gear. If you do that, you'll save 15% off your purchases, and they've got core sliders, straps and barbell pads, all different strength and conditioning programs to suit your needs at different levels. Beast your goals with beastgear.co.uk. And finally, we're also sponsored by the MMAtakeover.com. For the real MMA rankings, go to MMAtakeover.com or visit them on Facebook or on Twitter. To panel tonight, returning to the show, Pompey's biggest fan from Purely MMA, is Mr. Matthew Penny. Matthew, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, doing good. Thanks for having me back on, mate. It's been an interesting year for MMA and UFC, so it's good to come towards the end of the year and have another really good, solid card and another good show with you guys and chatting about it with good friends.
Yeah, man. Also returning from the main event, the greatest thing at Lubbock, Texas, it's Mr. Kevin Jones. Kev, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. It's a sunny but slightly frozen day out here in West Texas where I'm at. And I've been on a bit of, believe it or not, we got a foot of snow. Largest, it's the third largest snowfall we've had in a 1 to 2 day period in the last 50 years in Lubbock, Texas. Wow. But it is thawing out. I am back in full effect. It's great to be back on the show with you fellas. Awesome, man. Good to have you back. Finally new to the show from the MMA Fight Bible, it's Chris Allen. Chris, how you doing, mate?
Hi, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. First time being on. First time actually doing a podcast, actually. So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. Nice one, man. Looking forward to it. Gentlemen, what a night of fights we had at the weekend. We'll get your reaction to some of those and obviously, like we said, fan questions. Let's start with what some are calling fight of the year, maybe. Jimmy Manuwa, Thiago Santos with wild strikes in the first round, man. Looked like he might have been out actually on his feet first 5 minutes. Chaos continued into the second round. Shout out to my man Victor Vargas. He called that, guys that move up from middleweight or don't cut at middleweight and just take your chances like heavyweight, like a la Anthony Smith. That's the way forward, and the way forward for Santos here as well. Let's get the panel started. We'll start with Matthew on this one. Matthew, your reaction to this chaotic fight in the light heavyweight division? Chaotic is the right word. It was great. I just feel bad for Manuwa. He's for me. It looks like he's coming towards the end of his career, and he's not going to have that final burst or flurry of wins, which I hoped he would have. It's sad to see because there's not a great deal of UK fighters in the UFC, near the top of the divisions. So it's sad to see, really, and to see him get knocked out again, it was pretty gutting, really. But take my hat off to Santos, on the up. Great fight. I think it was the kickoff of the main card. So. It got the crowd going, even if Manuwa is coming to the end of his career, at least he's losing in style. You know what I mean? That's one way of looking at it, right? Yeah, for sure, man. What a scrap, though. Kev, how about you? Your thoughts on the fight, and also just give me some of your thoughts on what Victor was saying last time we were on about guys not cutting middleweight and moving up to light heavyweight. Do you think that's a way forward, mate?
I know it's the way forward. I mean, you're speaking of I know everybody kind of hates it and loves it when I point to the world of boxing, but I mean, they've been doing it for a lot longer than we've been watching this MMA. The natural progression of things is to move up in weight when you get older. You don't move down in weight. Mm-hmm. That's hard on your body, and it's going to be hard on your pocketbook too. This is what you're supposed to do. I mean, the whole problem with it in MMA is the 20-pound jump. But I think there's been plenty of guys that have showed you that it's possible to make that jump and have success. Thiago Santos, wasn't he fighting at middleweight earlier this year? He's fought a bunch of times this year. He's had a great year. 1 loss on there, I believe, with 4 wins now. This is what you're supposed to do, man. When you get older, we can all testify to it. We're all in our 30s, guys, and your body just doesn't work like it did in your 20s. You have to go up and wait. I hate to say it about Jimmy Manuwa. I love the guy, man. I love his style of fighting. Yeah. It is definitely a fan-friendly style. But, yes, I do believe that he is on the end of his career. He got there close to title contention and couldn't get it done. And I don't think that we should say he's losing to guys that are inferior as far as, where they're ranked at, because Thiago Santos has made a splash in this division and he's on his way up. So, props to both the guys for opening the show and putting on such a great contest for us to enjoy. Jimmy Manuwa, keep fighting as long as you want to, brother. I will keep watching you. But at some point, let's sit back with the family and check out what our other options are. Yeah. If you're fighting just to fight because you love it, then keep on keeping on. But if you're fighting because you think a title shot is somewhere down the road, it is not, and you're going to be disappointed. Thiago Santos, though, man, who knows? We see guys. Anthony Rumble Johnson is a guy that went up and down and back up in weight, and he had a lot of success, and he had his title shots, and wouldn't say he came close to winning them, but who knows what's next for Thiago Santos? You keep winning and keep putting on fights like that, we will continue to see you on main cards.
Absolutely, mate. Finally, Chris, give me your thoughts on this amazing light heavyweight fight, mate.
Well, yeah, definitely going to be potentially one of the top 5 fights of the year, if not the top 3. Obviously, we're gutted. He's our UK poster boy, as you know, so we don't want to see him lose, especially on a 3-fight losing streak as well. Yeah. Unfortunately, I was at the last UFC London. Well, fortunately, I was there, but unfortunately, I saw Manuwa lose to Jan Blach. I can never say his name correctly.
Blakovic. Yeah.
Blakovic,
the rematch.
That's it, yeah. And then the year before, I managed to see him knock out Corey Anderson. So, it was a shame to see him come against a tough Thiago Santos, because I thought he actually gave as good as Santos gave him. He was almost waiting for who's going to land that first clean punch. But at one point, Manuwa caught him with some serious left hook. I'm talking under the jaw. I've never seen anyone get hit so hard in my life and just walk forward afterwards. So after that, I thought Santos isn't going to drop after this. And fair play to him. He caught him with a beautiful uppercut, which started from the ground level up and finished him off. And it's sad to see him go, but there are rumours at the moment saying that there's potentially he might cross over to boxing, which might be a good idea. I don't know if the MMA world, but if he does do that, that might be his next step if he doesn't carry on with MMA.
Did Jimmy Manuwa, I may be wrong, did he not call out David Hay or something one time?
Yeah, he did. He called out David Hay at UFC London when I was there.
Is that what it was? It was this year. Yeah, so I mean...
And he also had a face-to-face with David Hay at a BAMA event in 2017 because he was there doing some coaching.
So there's legit history here then, like a beef?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, but then you think, is there beef or is it just another money fight? Like you hear about Khabib saying, "Oh, my contract runs out May the 4th, so I can fight Floyd then."
Yeah.
What are these guys doing? I don't. And then you've got Stipe called. Was it not Stipe? Someone called. I think Joshua called out Joshua called out Stipe as well.
Oh fuck!
It's just you never know what to believe sometimes.
I think I'm gonna call out David Hay here in a month or two.
He'd be up for it as well, man. You could do it. Just fly that Welsh flag in there, Kev. That's what you do, mate, when you turn up.
I wanted him after those 2 losses to Bellew, but my promoter had other plans for me.
That's it, man. Yeah, it's all red tape. Guys, let's talk main event, because the fan questions, a lot of them came in about this. We'll get through as many as we can, but this, I guess, another contender for fight of the year, this main event. Despite being rocked so many times, I think Ortega broke the record for just his head snapping back constantly, man. I was like, gee, every time, whoa. Holloway's combos, amazing, pressure forward. He did land some good shots, to be fair, Ortega, some good elbows, I remember. But it's Blestera once again. He called it going into the 4th round, pointing to, I'm sure we probably saw the gif, this is where it ends, and it did end via doctor stoppage. Let's start with Kevin this time. Kev, your thoughts on this incredible main event for the featherweight title?
Well, it was a great fight, man, but I saw a lot of Holloway kind of dictating what was going on, man. Ortega not being able to take him down, I think if Holloway would have loaded up on some of these punches, he could have got him out of there cleaner and earlier. I mean, there was something like 134 punches landed in that fourth round on him. I mean, that was brutal stuff, man. It definitely had no business coming out for the fifth. And, yeah, I mean, Max Holloway, the guy fights so long, he never really loads up on his punches. You know, I think especially there towards the end of that round when he had him on the cage, man, you know, if the guy just calms down a little bit, puts his punches together a little better and sits on them, then I think we could have had a spectacular stoppage. But, yeah, still a great fight, man. You got to give props to Brian Ortega for having all the heart in the world. But, you know, fighting a guy that's that long and he couldn't get in the side, man. He never had a chance to get in there and take him down, and that's what he needed to do. Ends up staying right on the end of his punches, right where Max Holloway wanted him to be. You know, so I wouldn't have necessarily called it a back and forth affair, man. I mean, Ortega caught his shots, but this was Holloway, man. This was all Holloway to me.
Do you rate his boxing, Kev, just out of interest? Because, you know, Ortega wasn't staying on the centre line. He was moving his head about, but he was still getting tagged every single time. Holloway's boxing, are you impressed with it, mate?
Yeah, I mean, what he did well was he punched where the guy was going to be and not where he was, you know, and he kept him when he kept him backing up. He kept touching him. But you know what I would have liked to see was him work a little angles and get on the inside and really sit down on a right hand or left hook. But you know, this is it's a different beast when you're watching. It's hard to compare the boxing skills that you see in MMA with what you see in a boxing ring, and it just all originates from their feet and how the stances are different. But yeah, man. You know, as far as Max Holloway being a world-class boxer, he's far from that. But the dude has the skills to pay the bills in MMA, and it's a volume game, man. I mean, he fights at range very well, and when it's time to let punches go, he does what he has to do to win the rounds and to really take a guy's heart away from him. And that might be crazy to say that Brian Ortega got his heart taken away from him, but I mean, if you look at him, especially towards the end of the fight, man, he's holding his chin up high. He has no idea where he's going to go on his feet, no idea where the punches are coming in from. And it was just a furious pace. I mean, anytime you get hit with 134 punches, God.
Yeah, it's brutality, isn't it? Chris, how about you, mate? Your thoughts on the amazing main event, sir?
Well, actually, what amazed me the most was, Holloway's been out for a substantial amount of time. I think this is the first time he's fought in 2018.
Yeah.
And he manages to come back and defeat one of the most highly rated fighters in the division. I think we've all thought of Ortega not really as the real champion, but sort of, you know, he was carrying the title in there unofficially by beating all these top guys until Holloway was able to fight again. So for Holloway to come back and defeat someone like that after such a long layoff, and especially come in and break the record of over 300 significant strikes in one fight, is pretty unreal, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He's actually at 27 years old now. He's overtaken people like Michael Bisping and Frankie Edgar for most significant strikes ever in UFC history at 27 years old. So it just shows this guy's got a lot more to offer. He's going to be around for a long time. He's just hitting his prime now. And he might already be the greatest featherweight of all time. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, and he doesn't want any of that. I heard him, people were probing or putting that to him. Do you think you consider yourself the greatest Hawaiian? He's like, no, that's BJ Penn. Do you consider yourself the greatest featherweight? He's like, no, that's Jose Aldo. And I'm like, man, he's his own worst critic, and maybe that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why he is so successful, as you said, at only a young age. Unbelievable.
Sorry.
No.
But with 13 straight wins as well, and these aren't easy fights he's had either. You know, this is 13 straight fights against top level competition. Yeah. You know, he should hold his head a bit higher. Definitely. Yeah,
absolutely, man. Finally, Matthew, what was your reaction to this awesome main event, mate?
I thought it was a great fight, and I don't want to take anything away from Ortega, but his heart was great. I just don't know if he looked as great as I think we were all expecting him to be. He was hyped up so much, and rightly so. But I don't know if he was caught up in the moment or just surprised. I don't know. To me, he didn't look the full package that we're used to seeing from him. Not taking anything away from his heart, of course. But it reminded me a bit of Conor Eddie, the fight. You know, everybody knew what Eddie had to do to go in there and make it not an easy, but a 50-50 contest. And he didn't do it. And after the fight, he said, "Oh, well, I knew what I did wrong. I don't know if that was similar for Ortega. I don't know if he just stepped in there and just completely threw away the game plan. I know he had 11 takedown attempts, but I didn't think Holloway's takedown defenses were like spectacular. I just didn't think Ortega had much in them. It was weird, but still a great fight. And from all of Holloway's like past wins, I've always sort of found an excuse for him. I've always said, "Oh, well, Aldo's way past his best twice." I always found excuses for him, but this time I can't really find any excuse for him. He did a fantastic performance, and if he stays at featherweight, he could tie Aldo for the best featherweight of all time. Because for me, that's still the greatest of all time in the featherweight division.
Matthew, I was going to say I had no idea you were such a hater of Max Holloway until this fight, mate.
I wasn't a hater, but like in the past, I've always, I don't know, I've always just found.
You weren't convinced, no?
Yeah, not massively. Not massively, I have to say. But now I am completely sold, and good on him. It was a great fight, but just I don't know. Maybe in the next coming weeks we'll see if Ortega comes out with some reasons. I don't know. Maybe he came in with an injury. I don't know. But it's to me, it reminded me of Conor Eddie, where everybody knew if he could get Max down, he'd probably have a good chance of probably winning, and he came in as betting favourite.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's right. Yeah,
but I just didn't really do it. So that just proves that it's not just me like doubting Holloway. He went in as underdog Holloway. So yeah. I think everybody was almost expecting Ortega to win, and especially as we've already said, Holloway was out for so long, and he came back and probably put his best fight ever. I mean, hats off to the guy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Guys, it's time for the second half of the show, and it's my favourite answering fan questions. I'll just remind the panel of the one rule we have in the podcast, and it's simply don't wait your turn. The floor is yours. So if you're ready, guys, we'll start with Facebook this week. Elliot Thomas says, "Gotta love Holloway, man. He was clearly focused on Brian, yet still keenly aware of the crowd, both corners, his son, and the broadcast bench. He's only 27, shows maturity, much like DC, Kev, you'll love that. Yet he was playful like a kid. Now that's a champ you can rally for. Even his potential opponents love the guy. Lightweight title run is next for the journey of Blessed Express." You want to see him at lightweight?
I think he has the frame to go up there. You know, he has some weight to put on it. I'll tell you the thing about Holloway, man, and how he's so cool in the ring is same. It translates from his personality outside the ring. That's that laid back Hawaiian style, man. Yeah. He takes it all in. You know, that translates in the ring. That's why he's so calm and collected, man, because he walks around every day like that. The guy doesn't get rough.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. We'll take next one from Facebook. Let's see. We've got Hilda Golo. Holloway would have beat the pulpit of Ortega in the 5th round. Good, the doctor stopped it. Ortega also a warrior and can fight more healthier next time. I really don't think the 5th round was necessary. Yeah, it was a good stoppage, really, wasn't it?
It was a great stoppage. I think even in the 4th round, I think Ortega, that you literally saw him. He wasn't entirely sure what was going on. He was just being teed off on. I think it's a couple of points. The ref could have stopped it even in the 4th. So
yeah.
Or the corner. I was expecting the corner to throw in the towel within that last minute. I mean, he got hit way too many times. Is he out of the hospital yet?
I don't know. Yeah, he was. Somebody reported it this morning on Twitter. He was out like overnight because he didn't. Well, okay. I think it was reported that he had nothing broken, but then Ortega said he actually broke his nose and a thumb. So
yeah, I read that. And the reason why the fight wasn't stopped by the ref either is it's just the heart that Ortega shows is unbelievable. You know, Holloway's laying punts on him and he's backing up, but he's coming straight forward again.
Yeah.
He can't land heavy.
Yeah.
You know, so they're not going to stop the fight, and I'm sure he'll have happily gone another round with Holloway, but it'll be unnecessary damage he'll be taking, and I think good stoppage, and he'll learn from it. You know, you all learn from your first loss.
Yeah.
He'll step back, he'll look at this, and he'll come back a better fighter, Ortega.
Ortega wasn't even knocked down in the fight.
No, he didn't even drop.
Amazing that he wasn't, though, I know.
That's incredible.
I'd really like to see Ortega trim up a little bit. You know what I mean? The guy just he carries a little bit too much for me around his midsection. I think that could serve him well with moving around better, man. If he was carrying a little more muscle, and a little less fat on him.
That's those jiu-jitsu hips, baby. That's what that is.
Do you reckon he could drop enough to go to 145 though?
No. I saw on Twitter that he walks around at 185.
Oh, so Jesus!
I believe it.
Yeah. 'cause he looked a bit, even at the press conference a day before the weigh-in, I tweeted out and I said, he's looking quite filled out. He's looking quite, not chunky, but he's looking normal for somebody cutting weight. But, he made it, so fair play.
Maybe he's doing it the right way, I guess. Let's move on, because we've got Richie Santiago. MMA needs to stop ignoring the obvious strikes in the back of the head. Gunnar was damn near rocked out with clear elbows. I guess he means Gunnar Nelson. And Benavidez beat that kid's head in last week. Strikes in the back of the head.
Yeah, that was the elbows back of the head. And in the post-match interview, I think Nelson said it actually rattled him. He knocked him out slightly, And he's been victim to eye pokes and everything as well in the past, like badly, So he's a bit unlucky, and I thought, and also you've got Santos, and the Cowboys corner, soaking in water between rounds. And I think, everything's against Gunnar. Everyone's against him, but you know what? He still drops the guy, makes him bleed like a fountain, and submits him to happy days.
Yeah. Exactly.
The reffing earlier on in the event actually was a bit off, but I can't remember the example, so it's unfortunate. But one of the early prelim fights, I think it was, there were some big knees on a grounded opponent who had both of his hands down on the mat.
Right.
And there was knees to the head against the cage about 4 or 5 times, and the ref didn't even mention it. So it was picked up in commentary in the early prelims, but the reffing on a couple of occasions was a bit dodgy.
I agree. And also
one thing that's bugged me forever about MMA too, man, and not taking anything away from illegal shots, but headbutts. I mean, they hardly ever call headbutts, and you see them every fight night.
Yeah, what was the fight? Was one recently, Kev? Was it Shogun? And who the fuck was he fighting? Is it the Australian boy?
I was down there. Yeah,
that was brutal. Just charging in with his head. It was a couple of times.
Yeah. And they never, you'll very rarely even see anybody being warned about it.
Yeah.
There's no reason. I mean, with the eye poke thing, I can always play the devil's advocate and argue that, well, you got fingerless gloves. It's going to happen, Yeah. But headbutts, man, there's no reason there should be so many headbutts. And, there's guys out there, man, that like you're saying about the Shogun fight that are aware that they're not going to be called for it. And they and they're going to use it to their advantage.
They were, and also the cage grabbing as well. They were talking about it.
So blatant, wasn't
it? If you actually cage grabbing is bad enough, but if it literally prevents a takedown, you could hold him on the ground for the rest of the round. Do you know what I mean? So that's one thing to be a guaranteed point, and that's that same referee, I think, that didn't notice the knee strikes you were talking about as well, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, it was.
There's no rule against grabbing it with your toes either, but that always kind of bugs me too. When a guy with a longer toe get a hold of that cage, and he can just spin his back around and be in a better position than he was. It's I don't know, man. I guess it's all a work in progress. They'll change they'll change up some more rules in a couple of years.
Yeah, they're not really supposed to put their toes in the cage. The ref will warn them.
They're not.
Do it. No, but I don't know if there's an official rule.
It is, I think the rule is, because I'm sure I had Big John on this, is like that you can't grip. So whether it's your toes or your fingers, I'm sure that's a rule. Like it can be palm or sole, like on the cage, like push you off or whatever, but you can't grip onto the holes or whatever.
Like they get away with grabbing it with their feet all the time.
Oh yeah. Moving your legs up.
I thought it wasn't a rule. They're doing saying too much.
I did see rumors.
Maybe it's not, and I'm just giving them too much credit. I might also be talking at my arse. You're probably right.
I did see rumours on Twitter somewhere a little while ago that Reebok were looking into doing some sort of completely enclosed MMA glove, but it's obviously a lot more flexible than boxing, so you can completely move, but it's completely enclosed. I did see that. I'm not sure if
it's investing in something like that at the moment. I was reading. Yeah.
Let's move on, guys. So we've got Julia Borvitz, who says Joanna needs to leave ATT. Joining these American-based gyms watered her down. Her mystique is gone. She needs to go back and train in Poland. What do you think?
That's my girl, man.
Yeah. You love her, eh?
I'm the last to admit it. Her mystique is gone. That invincibility, that intimidation she had over people. Rose kind of took it away when she beat her twice. And Shevchenko, this weekend, this is a girl that hasn't been intimidated by her twice and had 2 wins over fighting at a higher weight. I don't know. I don't know what to do with my girl Joanna, but still love you, Trick.
She didn't even show it. My prediction for the fight was if we saw a Joanna, like a bogey woman Joanna, it'd have been great. And I think she really would have had, if she had a mystique back and she really brought that. I mean, some people don't like it, but I quite liked it, and it showed her fierceness. But we didn't see it. Like, even in the cage, like when the ref was, staying out there all the rules, she was, all nodding her head, putting her hands together, it was like, oh. And through the fight, I'm sorry, but she just didn't. From a technical standpoint, it was a great fight. But from a more casual standpoint, it was a very casual fight from her. I didn't see much fire from her.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
she had to get aggressive, mixed up. No, it was bad.
She showed no fire. She showed no fire, and it's disappointing considering it was her first fight in this division in the weight class for a while. Yeah. She showed no fire. It's disappointing, really.
Do you think she looks small for 125? Do you think she looks smaller?
She did. Well, I think Valentina made her look small. That didn't help.
That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm thinking. If she fought someone else at 125. Maybe not as big, but
Joe Rogan said she always looked big at 115, but I don't think she looks very big at 125. So she's a bit of an odd.
I think at the weigh-ins than Valentina, to be fair.
I think a lot of it has to do with her frame and how her frame matches up to those girls at 115. But she's never been she weighs 115 pounds, man. And, if you've seen this chick sitting next to you, that extra 10 pounds. It's not going to look like much, but I don't know, man. Women's fighting's different, and these girls, it's hard for them to go up. What's left for her at 125 is kind of my deal. I mean, she comes up there, gets her title shot. Yeah, there's girls she can beat up there, but I would much rather see her reestablish herself at 115, fight her way back up if that's what she wants to do. But honestly, I don't think she's going to stay around for much longer.
She said in the post-fight conference that she already wants another title shot at 115. She doesn't even want another warm-up fight. She just wants another.
She's delusional.
No, she's not going to. No way.
I think she should go back to strawweight and fight this Tatiana Suarez, who's 7-0, 4-0 in the UFC. And if she wants to get her way back to the top, go back to strawweight, fight this undefeated girl. And if you beat her, that's your climb back to the top again. That's my prediction. That's my shout.
I can see her doing a DJ, like going off to 1.
Yeah.
It seems to be
they got some money.
Yeah, and they're spending it as well. Let's move on because we've got Jermaine Johnson asking pretty much what we were talking about earlier, but I like how he's put it. How the fuck was Ortega a favourite in this fight?
Because of the dominance he's had since Holloway's been away. Yeah. That would probably be my straight answer to that one.
And also the health issues as well with Holloway. Like, what was it people saying? He was slurring his speech, and he'd been out for so long as well. I guess that plays a part.
Yeah, definitely. But I think because of the dominance Ortega's been showing in the division, I think people almost forgot about Holloway and were just watching Ortega's rise and thought, well, he's going to the top now, and don't count him out. He came back and was, as we said, broke records for most shots landed, and here you are. So he well deserves it.
Definitely. Let's see, Lloyd Dennis. Shouldn't McGregor be known as the greatest featherweight? He's beaten Holloway, Aldo, Mendes. Come on now, folks. Very good.
How many times has he defended his titles?
Big fat 0. And Cage Warriors too, right? He never defended any of those belts.
Never defended a title in his life. And, that's what makes a champion, a fighting champion, a defending champion. We always say, old saying, and back in the old boxing heads, man, you're not really the champ until you defend it one time. A lot of guys win world titles. Very few hold on to them for a while.
Do you think Floyd... sorry, on you go, mate.
This is coming. I'm a big Conor fan. And I think I've made that perfectly clear when it's fighting Conor and not the entertainment crime Conor. But he's just not
crime boss Conor.
he's just not my guy. He's just not the best featherweight. I mean, he got signed. I think in his documentary he said he got the call from the UFC literally 4 days after he won the Cage Warriors lightweight title, and then hasn't defended any title since. And he beat Holloway, but it was a long time ago. I'd love to see the rematch, but I got a lot of abuse on Twitter from people saying, "Oh no, Holloway doesn't need him anymore," and Conor needs to build himself up. But I would like to see it.
Who cares? Who needs it? It's what the fans want. Sorry, Chris, what were you saying, mate?
I said, what weight class would they want to see Holloway McGregor at? Would it be at the current weight of Holloway, or will they go up a weight? What do you reckon?
Probably lightweight now, I think, for Conor.
But does he want to come back for a non-title? This is the thing, isn't it?
Well, he has suggested it. He has suggested it after the Khabib fight. He said he's ready to fight the next in line. Whether that is the truth, we'll soon see.
Cerrone called him out, didn't he? And he's not a fan of Conor at all, Cerrone, and they've made that perfectly clear in the press conferences when they've been near each other.
Yeah. But then Cerrone's got given a fight in January, I think, hasn't he? At a fight night.
Yeah, but that's just Conor being a good businessman. He's setting up fights left, right, and centre so that these people come.
Conor needs to come back and give Nate his rubber match.
Yeah, man.
I think so.
That's what he needs to do. Well, no, he's good. I think he'll get beat down in it bad if it happens anytime soon. If it's that Conor we saw against Khabib, that dude was not there to win.
No, he was quitting.
I think UFC are in a weird position with Conor because obviously, he's definitely their biggest star in terms of pulling power. Mm-hmm. But now, what do you do with him? Do you give him like the big fight next and give him a big risk of losing again? And then after that, does he have the same pulling power? Does he have that? He will have the same star power because he has the trash talk. But it's harder and harder to defend him and give him big fights if he keeps losing. So do you give him a lower down fight or?
I'll say it like I said it before, man. Conor changed the game on these guys. I mean, he's operating as his own guy, as it should be. If you ask me, he'll fight whoever he wants to fight next, or he won't fight. They have to give him a fight that he wants, or he's not going to fucking do it. He got the dough. He can ride off in the sunset, especially with these fucking deals he has going outside of the sport. I mean, the guy could fucking just be a poster child for the country of Ireland, or the nation of Ireland for as long as he wants to.
Just be a personality. Yeah, man, you're probably right. Let's see, we've got Jake Blair. Fights to make in 2019. All right, let's hear it. Khabib versus Tony. Conor versus Holloway. Poirier versus winner of Lee / Alaquinta. Khabib versus Tony, we've tried it, man. We've tried it like 100 times. It's just not going to happen.
It's going to be made. That fight is going to be made, but I'm never going to get my hopes up again until I see them both stepping into the cage on fight day and touch gloves. Yeah. I'm not going to believe it.
They'll fight. It's a law of probability. It'll happen. I mean, if they keep trying, it has to happen one time, doesn't it? In theory.
Who else has he got to fight in his current division? Frankie Edgar's probably the next one really up in line for him if he's going to take on anyone, or he takes on Tony. That would definitely be my shout. Yeah. Or will they push Conor McGregor on him for the big money fight? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I prefer those options for sure. Let's see, we'll move on to Twitter questions. At Nega Warriors, is Manuel's chin that bad, or does Dos Santos hit that hard?
It's a bit of both, I think.
Yeah.
I think Santos actually just hits that hard. He just has purebred knockout power inside of him, and he's also got the strongest jaw I've ever seen. As I said, I've never seen anyone take a left hook off Manuel like that against the cage, under the jaw, and come forward again.
He's carrying that extra weight too. He's we're used to seeing Thiago Santos that's bleeding himself from weight and getting down to 185, and now he's coming in there a lot more comfortable.
Santos has some pretty shit tattoos though. On another note.
Shit tattoos. Yeah, we've done this a couple of times. What's the shit tattoos? The guy has I have a small penis tattooed below his navel.
What was the guy's name? They had the picture of Johnny Cash tattooed.
Alan Belcher. Yeah, that one's that's horrific, man. That's one of the worst ones ever. It looks nothing like Johnny Cash. Anyway, let's move on. At Else for Elf, which one is more true? Brendan Schaub is the type of guy to send dick pics to himself, or Brendan Schaub is the type of dude to interrupt his son while trying to speak his first word? It's a bit weird putting your son and dick pics in the same sentence.
Yeah, I might leave that to someone else to answer.
Brendan Schaub, anyone a fan of the guy?
I tend to ignore his stuff on Twitter, to be honest.
He does good podcasts with Joe Rogan. I like when he's on the Joe Rogan show. He's quite informative there, but I think Joe Rogan's leading in which way he wants to go. Exactly. That's the difference.
Brendan Schaub, man, he always reminds me of that. He was talking shit on Dana White about fighter pay or whatever he was saying. And he went on at length about it, and I asked Dana White about what he said, and he said, man, I literally might have spoken to the guy like twice over the phone while he was with the company. I never even spoke with him when I was in person, Brendan Schaub, he doesn't move the needle for me. And I would tell you what I thought about listening to him on that Joe Rogan show if I could ever get through a minute of it. Joe Rogan needs to be on his way out, too.
You hating on Rogan? You want him gone?
I've always hated on Rogan.
Who would you put in there instead? Jimmy Smith. It's just Joe Rogan 2.0, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, Jimmy Smith. He's a very nice guy, man. You know who I like? Believe it or not, you ain't gonna believe this, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned it before. DC is one of the best play-by-play guys I've ever fucking.
He's so passionate, that guy. Thug Rose.
Yeah. Class, man. We've got one more from Twitter before we wrap up, guys. At eating4_all. DC has said his final fight will be John Jones at 205. If Gustafsson wins the title later this month, do you think DC will still want that fight?
Yes.
100%. DC wants to go as the greatest of all time. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
He might think he wants it, but he does not want it. It's just going to end worse and worse. He's getting older and older, slower. And I think you're going to see the meanest, baddest John Jones you've ever seen when he comes back to fight Alexander Gustafsson. I'm calling it TKO second round. It's going to be I think it's going to be a knee or a head kick.
Oh, I remember John Jones coming as the youngest champion of the UFC back in those days, and look how far he's come. And I don't know, the first fight, no, I'm one of those people that thought Gustafsson won the first fight. I really did. I thought he won the first fight. I can get all the haters on me for that one as much as they want. But this second round, no, John Jones is coming back. He's coming back clean, hopefully. And I think he's going to go to war, and I think you're right. Second round, he's going to pick him apart in the first round. Second round, he's going to take Gustafsson out and just cement his place back in the light heavyweight division. 100%.
And what I'd love to see him do after it is go to the heavyweight division and say, fuck Daniel Cormier, and wait for him to ride out. And I tell him this whole 40th birthday thing, bullshit. If you want to do it on your 41st birthday. You know what I mean? Fuck with him like that. John Jones does not need Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier needs John Jones.
I'm a huge DC fan, and if it's one of those things, I will always say that John Jones will beat him. John Jones is the better fighter, plain and simple. So I think if John Jones can stay clean and stay out of the spotlight for the bad reasons, he like we've already said, he could do anything. He could literally be undefeated for 20 years at light heavyweight and heavyweight. He is that good. I think he could do everything that DC is doing now, like the double champ stuff, and then do it better and do it for longer.
But he's not going to, because he's John Jones, and he's going to be getting mad with it, and he's going to get arrested, and all sorts is going to happen.
People change.
Oh, every time, man. Every time it's coming up to a John Jones fight, it's time for, the greatest rehab story ever told. It's just, I can't be doing it, man. Many times.
That's going to be the name of his biopic, man.
Well, if he wants a performance-enhancing match, just put him against Brock Lesnar. Now, that'll be a fight to see. And if they're both roided up to the max, that'll probably be more interesting to watch. Yeah. To be fair,
UFC 300 dick pills. That's what it'll be called. Man. It'll be amazing.
Now, how funny would that be if DC had to retire without fighting John Jones or Brock, and then John Jones gets Brock Lesnar after this good stuff fight?
I think we're in danger of that happening, because I think Brock has re-signed with the WWE on a long-term deal. Quite not full time as in full time, but pretty heavy deal. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think he was doing it. He always does it when his WWE deal is coming to an end. He'll always say, "Right, I'm up for UFC. I'm up for a heavyweight fight," and then suddenly he re-signs with a fat $10 million in his back pocket.
What if they got a whole plan to integrate into a storyline that's going on in the WWF?
You know what I mean? Get John Jones in there.
They'd get me back to watching Monday Night Raw for the first time in 20-something years.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they'll be coming to the UFC to fight for the two titles, for the WF title and the UFC Heavyweight Championship. That'll be the next thing.
Now we're talking.
I can actually see that happening if WWE wasn't a PG company, but they're now a family approved company. If they went back to the old days, I could literally see something like that happening, and it might even been quite entertaining on WWE.
Get the Undertaker's coffin and get Tyson Fury to just sit up out it and takes on Brock Lesnar. I'd watch it.
That fight though, God, that Fury fight, my God.
I think it would really benefit the WWF to have Brock Lesnar come over here and fight too, man. I don't really think that'll prevent it. It's kind of like the Conor McGregor factor. Some of these guys are making their own rules, and if everybody can make some money on the deal, then why not?
I know we say don't trust Dana, but Dana in the interview the other day said there's no way that he would do a joint WWE deal, and if Brock wants to do that, then that's it.
The deal is, though, I mean, Dana White doesn't have the pull that he used to have. I mean, he still has a piece of the company, but he doesn't have his two best friends running the deal. Yeah. And these guys are – I've already seen it happening for the last couple of years, man. I mean, these guys are Dana White eats his words quite a few times lately.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I liked what Dana White said, though, earlier on about going back to the Holloway fight again, he's saying that he actually wants Holloway back up to 155, doesn't he? He doesn't want him to stay there. He said coming to this fight, this will be his last 145 fight. So he's already told Holloway, I want you to go back up. But in Holloway's post-fight interview, he's like, I'm staying here. I'm dominating this division. Yeah. So Dana's trying to push him in the way which is going to make the big money fights.
But for a change, Dana's actually doing that with the right intentions, I think, because I'm sure he's doing it for himself, but it has the right intentions. That Holloway, he does cut a lot of weight to get down there, and he has had a lot of health issues. So it probably, for his health, it probably is best for him to move up.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree.
Well, there you have it, guys. UFC. Oh, go on, Kev. I was going to wrap up. Go for it.
I was just last thought on Dana White, man. He's a promoter that kind of came up in a different way, and I think for a long time he's been he's been buying his own bullshit, So he says crazy shit like all promoters, but I think he actually believes most of the shit he says.
Do you think he was believing it when he was going the reigning, defending, when his face looks like it was going to explode? That was simple.
But every press conference, like during that,
I know
that he got bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Good God. Well, anyway,
and all that happened is whether McGregor went out back and shook hands and said, God, how easy is this?
That's it, man. There you have it, guys. UFC 231 in the books. What an amazing fight card. What amazing fan questions and what an amazing panel. Let me thank a Roundtable, starting with Kevin Jones. Kev, always a pleasure. Let our listeners know all about the main event and all the good work you do online, brother.
Main event live from 8 to 9 a.m. It's at Central Standard Time right here in Lubbock, Texas. West Texas' only live boxing and MMA show. The main event on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. You can always listen to the podcast. You just go to your Play Store and download Double T 97.3, the app, and it's easy. It's easy from there, man. I've had such a good time on this show, man. I've been gone for too long. Really looking forward to the end of the year show.
Yes, man.
Y'all don't want to miss it. I'm not going to miss it. We're all going to be here. We're all going to be pouring a few back, and it's going to be a great time. Listen to all the predictions and our awards. I'm losing what I'm thinking, but
I can't wait, man. It's going to be buzzing and good to have you back, man. To Chris Allen, Chris, a massive thank you again, mate. Tell our listeners where to check out MMA Fight Bible.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on again. I really look forward to potentially in the future joining you all again. And MMA Fight Bible, relatively new, been going for 1 year now. So we're on Facebook, MMA Fight Bible, and Instagram. So if you could follow, like, and share us on there, that'd be great. And obviously, don't forget to like and share MMA Fight podcast as well.
Finally, to Matthew Penny. Matthew, again, a massive thank you for your time, and let our listeners know where to check out Purely MMA.
Thanks for having me on, John. And just a quick extension on what Kev said, the MMA the awards show coming up is going to be great, and we're all going to be drunk, and it's going to be great.
Yes, man.
Can't wait for that. So you can catch me at Purely MMA on Twitter and purelymma.co.uk. We've got some cool articles going up, and I'm a social media guy, so I like to get some good discussion points going up. I like everybody to get a follow in and get involved and get with the good discussions going on over there. Thanks for having me on, John, and I'll chat to all you guys later.
Pleasure, man. If you've liked this podcast, be sure to subscribe on iTunes, search for Martial Arts Chat. You can follow us on Twitter at Martial Arts Chat, or like us on facebook.com/Martial Arts Chat. I'm John Boy McElroy, and I'll catch you next time on the Roundtable.